Hello once again, guys. Thank you very much for getting me over 2,000 subscribers. It is all thanks to you. Right, now I'm here to answer your questions that you posted to me on the Q&A videos and Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that, so here we go. Okay, we're going to start off with, what is one of your favourite non-horror games and why? Would you consider recording it? Yeah, that's a pretty good question. I suppose my favourite game, I've got a few, obviously. The one that I'd probably keep going back to, though, is The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. I just really like the addition in that series. A lot of people think it might be, you know, too cutesy and stuff. I thought it was quite charming, and I loved exploring the ocean, even when you had to go and find the charts and the Triforce pieces and stuff at the end of the game, which was a little bit monotonous. But I enjoyed it. It might have been a little bit too easy, but I had a lot of fun playing it, and, yeah. Would I consider recording it? You know, probably not. I don't think it fits into the channel all that well, and I don't actually have the means to record, like, a GameCube game, because I don't have a capture card or anything like that right now. I could emulate it, I suppose, but I don't think it would be worth it. Alright, we've got another question here. What is one of your favourite Let's Plays, and why? Okay, that is a good question. I'm gonna go with Scratches. One of the first games I actually played for this this new channel of mine. And that is probably because, although I had maybe like 300, 400 people following me at that point, it felt like there was a whole lot more people watching and a whole lot more people contributing. And I think because the game wasn't that well known, a lot of the people who were watching were kind of sort of vicariously going through the game for the first time, like myself. So they were throwing hints and tips my way, advice on what they'd do in the situation, and it just made a really good group experience, and I really liked it because of that. Okay, do you own any game consoles? What is your favourite football team? Well, let's answer the second one first. My favourite football team, I don't really exactly have one right now. I don't follow football all that much. When I was a child, it used to be Arsenal, back in the days of Ian Wright and stuff like that. Nowadays, I kind of support my local teams, which are Southampton and Portsmouth. And Portsmouth has sort of been in sort of financial turmoil recently. It was kind of in financial limbo. I wasn't even sure if it was going to be a football team or a club, honestly. So I've been following Saints recently. Do you own any game consoles? Well, yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of the old ones. The only sort of relatively recent one I've got is the Wii. And I guess I've got the 3DS as well. But I mean, I used to play like the NES, the SNES. I've got a, I think there's still a Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive somewhere up in the loft. I think I had a Sega Saturn briefly as well. Do you prefer PlayStation or Xbox? You know what? I don't think I have a preference, really. I mean, aside from the exclusives, which I don't know all that much about, it seems that you get the same games on the, you know, both the platforms. Yeah, it's like tomato, really. They're more or less the same thing, minus a few exclusives. I couldn't say, honestly. Any plans to play some adventure games like Siberia or other older games like Fallout or Deus Ex? Yeah, okay. A few people have actually been recommending Siberia, and I think Alfie McGurk, yeah, Alfie, I think you're one of them who keeps cropping up and mentioning it. And actually, because of that, I have actually checked the game out, and it does look quite fun. I've never played it before in my life, but, you know, watch this space. It could appear on the channel at some point. As far as Fallout Deus Ex, I've actually got them both. I've played them both. I find them quite fun, but there's no plans right now to record them for the channel. The Sir Duke is asking me, what is the meaning of life? And also, what has been your favourite game you've recorded? Well, I've already kind of answered that one, so let's go back to the meaning of life. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't think there is one. There's no one big answer for everybody. I think we're just sort of here, and we've got to make our own way. Whatever makes you happy and makes others happy around you. Okay, another one from Alfie saying, what other Let's Players do you watch, if any? You know what? I don't watch any other Let's Players right now because, you know, a lot of Let's Players play the games I want to play, and I usually want to play them without spoiling myself. I like to do them blind, so by watching other people, I would spoil myself. In 2008 and stuff like that, I used to watch, there was a guy called A-Goat, you know, sort of like really obscure ones. There was Cloud 8765 or something. I can't remember his username precisely, but I remember he had a very, very nice Silent Hill playthrough, which really got me into the series. Yeah, I mean, I try and stay away for a spoiler's sake at this point. Dylan wants to know 3 things. Do you record in a pantry? No, this isn't a pantry. This did used to be the porch, though, in the building, so this is actually external brickwork all around here. So these aren't tiles, this is actually just painted brickwork. So, yeah, that explains that. What's with the tape-looking stuff on your wall? I don't really know what you're referring to. Is it, if it's that, that is just a painting of some sort of landscape at sunset. Behind me there's a window, there's a radiator back there. I don't really know what you're referring to, honestly. And are chavs an issue around your area of residence? No, not for some years now. Butler01 wants to know, why are you so bad at FIFA, Bodrums or Kens? Well, let's answer the second bit first. Well, it's not Bodrums anymore, but I'm going to choose Bodrums. You know what I mean. And why are you so bad at FIFA? I think it's because I'm not really used to controllers anymore. I've spent too long with a mouse and keyboard in front of me, and thumbsticks, you know, I haven't really got back into thumbsticks and stuff like that. Plus, you know, as much as I like football games, I'm just not very good at them. Okay, here we go. This is the question that I kind of asked myself. Why the hell did you pick such a shit webcam? Well, you know what? I got my webcam from Logitech, and I got a lot of computer stuff from Logitech. That's all been relatively good. Well, you probably can't see it, it's just out of the webcam's range, but right here is a Logitech MX518 mouse, which is the best mouse I've ever had. It was really cheap and cheerful. It's still going, and it's still, you know, really nice. This headset, actually, it's actually out of production right now, but yeah, this is the best headset I've ever owned, and it only cost me 15 quid. But the audio clarity was fantastic. So basically, I just trusted Logitech, and I thought, you know, Logitech, cheap and cheerful, but really good quality. And I got this webcam for probably more than I should have, and it's, well, you're seeing it right now. It's not brilliant. It's not the worst thing ever, but it's not great. Oh, and also, what actually is the brown square thingamajig in the background? That thing over there, that's a plaque saying when the building was constructed, and that's actually in 1953, so the building's 61 years old right now. Outlaw Rebel 117's got a unique question. Are you at any point planning to do Craven, Manor or Eliosis? Your playthrough of the demos had me quite intrigued about them both. Well, I've actually played them both through fully. Eliosis was kind of dull. I was kind of forcing myself through half the game, honestly. Craven Manor? I'd like to do that, but I know it's a very, very short game. Actually, what I showed you in the first 15 or 20 minutes that I did in my video is like a third, about half of the game, something like that. So I probably won't go back to them, honestly. 3 questions from Gordon Hammer. What is your name? CJU. What is your quest? Well, that's kind of like my meaning of life. I'm just going to entertain as many people as I can on this channel. 3. What is your favourite colour? Damn, I'm going to have to be kind of predictable, and this is probably one of the most popular answers, but I'm going to have to say blue. It used to be green, but it's blue now. And in fact, it's the blue that I use in my logo, actually. The games part. Centurion asks, what do you do for a living? Well, I've done a variety of things in my life, but right now I'm actually working security for a university accommodation in a nearby city. So they entrust me with 2 multi-story buildings full of about 450 university students, and they ask me to look after them by myself. It's a lot of fun. As well as that, I used to be a surveying technician doing a lot of technical drawing work. So the company I once worked for occasionally gets overloaded with work. They swing a little my way. I get some extra money. I get to do some relatively easy drawing work. And there you go. And you know what? I almost forgot, but I do get paid a few pennies each day for doing this. So I guess this is kind of a third job. What were you afraid of as a little kid and nowadays? And what was your first horror movie? You know, I think I was quite a typical kid. I was afraid of all the, well, I say all the standard stuff. So that includes like the dark. I think clowns. I probably was afraid of clowns. I guess I still am. They're still fucking weird. You know what? I do remember having a slightly irrational fear, though, that you might find interesting. I think I couldn't quite grasp as a child that dinosaurs were extinct. And I kind of vividly remember hiding under the covers from a triceratops that obviously didn't exist. So I guess I just had a bad dream. What scares me nowadays? What scares me now? Nothing really. Nothing really sticks out. I mean, I don't want to sound like a badass or anything, but You know, I just stay away from things that could kill me, like crazy people wielding knives, and sharks, and snakes that could kill me with their venom and stuff like that. I don't really have any irrational fears, though, that I know of. My first horror movie. You know what? I couldn't possibly tell you, but I'm thinking it's probably something my dad introduced me to when I was maybe like 5 or 6. So, it could have been something like Alien, maybe. Probably not The Shining. Maybe The Thing. I'm thinking it's Alien, though. I seem to remember watching Alien as a young child, and I can't remember watching another horror film before that. So, it might not be the case, but I'm just going to say Alien. Congrats on 2K. Thank you very much. Where is your accent from? Well, I'm actually from England. I'm from the south of England, a little place called Hampshire, which you might know, but if you don't, it's roughly about here. DDA50 wants to know, when did you feel like stopping to make gmod trap videos? That's a good question, and it's probably one that a lot of people won't even know about because they don't know about my old channel. But I suppose it was probably back in 2008 and 2009, roughly, if I remember correctly. I didn't play Garry's Mod all that much anymore, and I was kind of forcing myself to go on and make another video. I was kind of like trying to force creativity, and I think I decided to stop making the Garry's Mod trap videos when I realized that a lot of the newer traps I was making were just sort of slightly better than the old ones, but they were pretty much the same concept. And yeah, I mean, I had other games to play at that point, so I just decided to have a little bit of a break from YouTube at that point. About a 2-year break. Do you read as a hobby? If so, what are some of your favourites? I really love your channel, you're the best. Thank you very much. Do I read as a hobby? You know what, I don't read all that much anymore. I used to as a kid. I think I probably read every single Goosebumps book there ever was. More recently, though, I don't read novels all that much. I read biographies and stuff like that. I mean, probably the last one I read that I found quite good was The Godfather. I mean, I've seen the film, so I thought the book might be good, and it's brilliant, actually. It covers, like, the first couple of films. It's a really fantastic read. What is your ultimate goal for your channel? You know, back when I started CjuGames, it was just to get the same sub number that I had on my old channel, because I was still really bitter about losing the old channel. And I guess I still am, just not as much. But right now, as I said earlier, I just want to entertain as many people as I possibly can in, well, any way I possibly can. Are you single? Actually, at the time of recording this, I am single, yes. Will you marry me and have cute British babies with me? Well, I am single, so never say never. Also, is it pronounced scone or scone? You know, I don't think there's a correct pronunciation for this, so I'm just going to say what I usually say. I usually say scone, but I have said scone before, so even I haven't decided. Why such a small fan base for such a great YouTuber? Ah, you know, I don't know. It's just luck of the draw, isn't it, really? I do suck at advertising, though, and every time I do advertise myself, I feel really horrible. So, yeah. Fallout CK wants to know, are you a fan of horror films? Have you got a favourite? Yes, I am a fan of horror films. I'm a fan of horror in all mediums, in games, in, you know, stories, and in films as well. Have I got a favourite? Have I got a favourite? I'm sure I do. I'm sure I do. I mean, there are really good, you know, genuinely good films that are also horror films, like The Shining, The Thing, Alien, as I mentioned earlier. Stuff like that. But I don't find them all that scary anymore, probably because I've seen them like 20 times each, probably. The one that consistently does freak me out, though, because it's got the element of reality that I don't like, I find kind of unsettling, is the Blair Witch Project. Especially paired with the sort of faux documentary that came before it. A lot of people don't know about that, but the documentary and the film are fantastic together. I'm kind of going to get a lot of shit for that, probably, because on the face of it, it's not that scary, but it's kind of realistic. I live kind of, you know, in the middle of woods. There's woods all around this town that I live in, so yeah, that's kept me out of the woods at night, let me tell you that. What do you do for a living? Well, I've kind of already answered that one. Have you ever been to the US? No, I've never been to the US of A, unfortunately. I would love to go, maybe do the Route 66 trip and just, you know, I don't know, maybe see as many states as possible in an ideal world. But no, I've never actually crossed the Atlantic at all. But one day. One day. Okay, we've got 2 questions from Anna Botero. How long have you been playing video games, and what are the games that have left a strong impression on you? Well, let's see. I think I've been playing since I was around roughly 4 or 5, so there's, you know, about 2 decades, about 20 years. What are the games that have left a strong impression on you? Well, there's loads. I mean, there's Hotel Dusk, there's Last Window, if you haven't figured it out. I quite like those games. I'm thinking about it. There's quite a lot of DS games that I'm going to put on this list. You know, Ace Attorney, Professor Layton, stuff like that. Story-driven games, really. In fact, there's a couple of games that I haven't played on this channel. There are also DS games in the series. 999 and Virtue's Last Reward. Story-wise, these games will blow your brains out. They're really, really fun. You know, I probably have to give a good mention to Mario 64 because it was the first 3D world that I had to play in. As you know, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time as well, for basically introducing like a basic RPG and adventure game and stuff like that. Yeah. How do you take your tea or coffee? Well, in a cup or a mug, generally. Hot. But seriously, I probably like tea a little bit more than coffee. I hate to be the stereotypical Brit. But yeah, I like strong tea, milk, no sugar, you know, sort of builder's tea, I call it. Same with coffee, really. Not black coffee, milk, no sugar. Natalie Morris wants to know, what's your cat's name? I've actually got 2 cats. I've got 1 female, 1 male. The male's called Milo. The female's called Nala. They're both around a year old now. In the old videos, pre-2014, I actually had another cat who unfortunately died earlier this year. And I think you might be able to hear her on, like, Mirror's Edge occasionally. She pops up on weird videos, it seems, in the background. But yeah, she was called Maisie. David Phillips wants to know, who would win in a fight between you and James Sunderland? Unarmed, no pillows, final destination only. You know what? I think pre-Silent Hill 2, I may have had a chance, but I think post-Silent Hill 2, James Sunderland has seen so much shit, I'm just going to be an obstacle in his way. Yeah, I don't think I stand too much of a chance, honestly. If I didn't answer your question, I'm sorry. If you'd like to leave it below again in the comments, I'll see if I can get around to it. Alright guys, hope you had fun watching, hope you know a little bit more about me. Now I want to ask you guys something actually. Do you think I should do something special for every like 100 or 250 subs? I'm thinking maybe starting some challenges or something. I don't know, play a stupidly hard game with hot sauce in your mouth or something like that. You know, whatever. If you do think I should do some sort of challenges on my channel, maybe leave a recommendation for a challenge below. Thank you very much for watching, and once again, thank you for 2,000 subscribers.